afternoon and welcome to Tuesday at 2 with your hosts Dave and Selima.
Yes, good afternoon again from me. This is our fourth video and we'll be talking about the structure of your first website. But first of all, Dave, I'd like to attend to three questions that came in and I'd like to answer.
Yeah.
The first one is, I have a good idea, but what's the most important thing to do next? Without doubt, the most important thing to do next is to know your audience, to know exactly who you are selling to, know everything about them, know them better than they know themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out where they are, what their passions are, what their problems are, as much as you possibly can, as you say, before you do anything else.
Just find out who they are. The other thing is, of course, know exactly what your product's about. If you're recommending somebody else's product, you have to know it better than the manufacturer, him or themselves. And if it's your own, really know your product inside out so you can talk about it.
I totally agree. And we've mentioned affiliate marketing previously where you're selling other people's products. I think it's really important if you're going to do that to actually be a customer of that product yourself. Eating your own food is the expression used for that. But yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I think that's the nice thing to do as well, to actually come from a place of experience, because you sound more authentic if you actually use the product.
Yeah, you've put your money where your mouth is, as they say.
Indeed. And it comes across in your copy, and if you're doing video marketing, it will come across in the way you speak about it with authority.
Yeah.
The second one that came in is funny. Is there a comprehensive book you can recommend? The sweet answer is no, because nobody writes about those things anymore, because the industry moves so quickly. You have to be very fast on your feet. So you watch out for blogs, people in the know, and you watch out for YouTube videos like ours. And if you are over 50, we strongly recommend you follow us, because we seem to be the only people doing it on the internet for this particular audience. We know our audience, ladies and gentlemen. You are over 50, you've had a career behind you, and you have a little money in the kitty, if not quite a bit, for you to be able to spend on advertising or whatever, something we'll discuss later. But no, there is no comprehensive book. You won't find it, because by the time you've bought it, something will have changed. One of the platforms will have changed.
Yeah, it's changed. It's the same reason why you can't really go to college and university and find a course specifically about online business. You can find courses about marketing, because marketing is sort of the same online or offline in a lot of ways.
It is.
But as regards building an online business, then you're right, no. And as I say, that's why you can't find, by the time you've written a curriculum or a course or a book, it's out of date.
Yes, marketing is something that we will be addressing in a big way, a huge topic, because nothing works unless you know how to market, and that will be available further down the line on these videos. But we'll be talking in depth about those. And the third one, Dave, that came in is: will we be doing any more in-depth training? Well, the answer is yes, we are. We're in the throes of planning the first one, which will be building your website. We have a URL, a domain that we bought some time ago, which is www.tuesday@2pm.com. We haven't done anything with it, because we will be providing a masterclass and doing it in front of you, loading it to incorporate this training for people over 50 wanting to start an online business. But we're waiting to do it in a masterclass, and that'll be available at a reasonable fee. And we will let you know when it's ready. It'll be extremely in-depth, and either Dave and I will be sharing our screen as we put the entire thing together, and the other person will be asking questions on your behalf, playing devil's advocate. Yeah,
we'll be doing those on a semi-live basis when we're actually physically together. At the moment, we're in different ends of the country on Zoom, so it's just to...
I'm hotter than you are at the moment. Wow. Yeah.
But no, that's the Selima's idea. I have to give her credit for using our own website as almost a live living demo site, because it means not only can we show you how we build a website from scratch, we can also, as time goes on further masterclasses, we'll be looking at different types of plugins and different types of website builders, stuff that we've mentioned and will continue to mention on this channel. So
how to market, how to write copy, and video marketing, and the differences between the two, the subtle way the industry is moving.
So we'll keep you Yeah, we'll keep you posted when we've got that done. Hopefully in a few weeks' time.
Hopefully in a few weeks' time. It's all on the cards. So I'm now going to pass you over to Dave, who's going to start talking about the basics of your first website. And I'm going to ask questions on your behalf.
Okie doke. Well, we have touched on types of websites and types of internet businesses in the past, and that what type of business you choose is going to influence the way you set the website up. But they have quite a lot of different things in common. So we've all seen websites. One of the good things, one of the common sense things to do is just to pay particular attention to the structure of a website the next time you look at one. But in short, if you're doing affiliate marketing, which is where a lot of people start, then it's really you're kind of a bridge to the people who've created the products, and people are really buying from you. So that really needs you to look at quite a personal approach for a website. So you construct, you've seen these usually along the top of the header of a website, the top part of the website, you'll see what's called a menu. And for a personal website or an affiliate website, it's quite common for those sections to have a home page, which just basically sets out your stall, which is incredibly important because you have literally seconds these days for people to land on your website, understand quickly what's in it for them and whether it answers their questions. And it's a tall order, but you really have seconds to do that. And there are different.
Sorry, Dave, I'm asking a question. How long do we have?
Well, I mean, it's not an exact science, but opinions vary between 3 and 8 seconds, really.
My experience is it's 3.
Yeah. I mean,
you have to go for the shortest possible time.
Again, if you look at your own web searching, your own experience, if you're really looking for something, you'll put in a search first of all, typically, and then you'll look at the results that come up. And then if the first one that you click on, well, it'll be first for a reason. And generally speaking, that will answer your question. You'll immediately see that, that's what I'm looking for. Great, I can do this. And then you're engaged. So you have the page that people land on, whether that be your home page or another page, is crucially important because it does that job.
It's the face of the business.
Yeah, it's your online storefront. So it's like on the high street, what remains of the high street, a shop front that tempts you in. It says what they do, if that's what you're looking for, and you go. So you have that's the home page. A lot of the time, though, you will use a different type of page, a very short miniature one-page website called a landing page, and that is a very, very specific sales page sort of thing. That's something you might be sending traffic to more often than your actual home page. But for your website, which is your online home or your business's online home, your home page needs to be there and needs to explain pretty succinctly all the key information about what you do and what benefits that offers to the visitor. You might also
I just want to mention something. Landing pages, you're talking about pages here. Is this all doable on WordPress?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. There are, we'll talk about plugins. I'll come to plugins briefly as well. There are a lot of, and again, we spoke about website builders in a previous broadcast. So certainly there are a lot of third-party plugins that you can get that are specifically aimed at doing that job, and some of them are extremely good and very, very quick because, as we've established, that's very important. Yeah. So you have your homepage. Again, if it's affiliate marketing, if it's a personal website, if you're offering a personal service or you're referring people, you probably want to have an About Me page, which is about you. So a bit of your own personal history, your experience with whatever it is that you're selling or promoting or the service you're offering. Straightforward. Critically, you will want a contact page. So a page, again, where obviously people can send you an email or get in touch with you in some way. That, again, pretty self-explanatory. And you may or may not want a blog page if you're going to be doing blogging as part of your business strategy and recommending products, that sort of thing. Then you may want to have a blog page, and that's a different type of website page because that's constantly changing. That's a page which you're adding new posts to, so it's not a static page. The pages we've discussed so far, home, about, contact, those are what's known as static pages. They don't change unless you go in and edit them, but a blog page you're adding to continually. So it's like a constantly scrolling page that you're adding to. And then obviously product pages. If you're doing e-commerce or you're selling your own products, clearly you need to have your products on there. And you can categorize those in all sorts of different ways. You maybe want to subcategorize them, so you can have. You'll have seen this as well. If you look at a menu where there are products, you may click on the products, and there'll be a drop down with different categories in there. So there'll be subheadings for different types of products in that sort of area. So that's really the basics of what a website needs to do. The other key thing you really need to do, and one of the big advantages of internet marketing, is a sign-up form which links to a piece of software called an autoresponder, because even if people don't buy something from your website immediately, they might come back. If you look at how people live these days, a lot of the time they might be on a mobile phone with a couple of minutes to fill in before they go to a meeting or catch a train or go back to work or finish lunch, whatever. So they may be pretty interested, but just not in a position time-wise or financially to buy whatever it is you're selling, but they could still be interested. So the big advantage we have as internet marketers is we can capture an email address from them and maybe offer them a free gift in exchange for that. So we can keep in touch. And this is you'll have seen this a million times. If you've bought anything on the internet, you will have submitted an email address 99.9% of the time, and you're probably receiving notifications from that website owner.
How would I hold on to that email address? If somebody subscribes, what do I do with it?
Well, what you really need to do is you get these sign-up forms, which will be name and email address typically, appearing on your website. And again, there are lots of plugins that can change the way that happens and the way it works. But that will link to another piece of software which is crucial for internet marketing called an Autoresponder, which is an email management system. And I think in our masterclasses we will recommend what we have found to be the best of those. But what those do is gather the email addresses that are submitted to you, and you can then do a whole lot of different things. You've obviously, they're kept as a database. You can arrange to automatically send. If you've offered a free gift, for example, that can be done automatically. As soon as someone submits that email address, they get sent a link to the free gift or the PDF or the video series, whatever it happens to be that you're offering, and it sends them a thank you page. You can also then write a series of follow-up emails if you want to, which are timed. You've done them once and they happen in the background as soon as someone joins that list. You can do live broadcasts. You can write if you have something new that's come in, you want to tell your list about, you can sit and do that live and send it out to them at a time of your choosing, instantly or scheduled. You can go in and subcategorize. If customers on that list have bought something from you, you can then sort the list so that they go to somewhere else and you're not continually trying to sell them something that they've already bought. So it's an essential, as essential as any of the other pages, really, possibly more.
And that becomes part of your what is known online real estate. Your list.
Exactly.
People pay fortunes for lists.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's your people that have been interested in you in the past, right? And so you keep them and you look after them. You might send them things that are interesting. And I suppose they can unsubscribe, can they?
Well, that's absolutely essential these days. Where the internet's really very tightly regulated now. Compliance is really key. So you have to make it clear to people that you won't be selling their information, their email address, the details that they give you, and they can unsubscribe at any time. On every email that's sent to you by an autoresponder, there will be an unsubscribe section on the end, and you can simply press that No more
Because
emails.
I get people writing to me saying, I don't know where you got my name. And I always go back, of course, and say, you must have seen me somewhere, or you've liked something that I was doing or writing
Yeah,
about,
you've
or you saw me
subscribed.
on camera.
Yeah.
You've subscribed, and would you like me to unsubscribe you? But of course, there is an unsubscribe link at the bottom of my email anyway.
Well, it's for the same reasons we mentioned earlier. It can sometimes just be a time thing, can't it? People are distracted and only vaguely. I've subscribed for things and forgotten I've done it.
Completely forgotten.
I'm interested, but someone's at the door. Okay, I'll just subscribe.
It's important to also say, isn't it, that there is an incredibly high percentage of people who do everything from their phones. I think it's something like 40%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
40% of people are on their phones doing contacting you via the internet, which is really quite astonishing. Very fewer and fewer are actually on mainline computers.
Yeah, that's very true.
Otherwise, it's iPads or whatever. But
very true.
The statistics are told to you via Google. We'll talk about this in a future episode. Google Tag Manager and things like that. You will find out everything about the people who are interested in what you're doing. Yeah, the stats are extraordinary. Sorry to interrupt, my friend. Carry on.
No, I think I'm pretty much done, actually, Selima, but the only thing I can think of we haven't mentioned much is plugins. If you remember, we insist, really, that you use WordPress as your content management system and then build your websites on top of that. One of the main reasons for that is that there are literally thousands of developers out there developing plugins that work on WordPress for almost every function you can imagine, and probably a million that you can't imagine and will never need. But a lot of these things are called plugins, and they are little bits of code which have been done for you, luckily, and you really just install them. So if you want, we've mentioned Autoresponder forms, so sign-up forms. Those can be just a static form that just sits on the side of your sidebar of your pages, or they can be pop-ups, for example, that if someone moves to leave your page, a pop-up comes up looking for your email address and says, before you go, I'm sure you've seen these kind of things. Well, that's a plugin. And if you're doing e-commerce, there are all sorts of different plugins for the different platforms that help.
You've left something in your basket, that sort of thing. You get an email.
Oh yeah, countdown timers.
Plugins for me are my joy. The fun you can have with them. Fabulous. Fonts, colors. Yeah.
There are provisos, and we'll again in our masterclass we'll cover those, because they can also cause your website problems. Yeah. But that's for another time.
Where would one find plugins? If I've got my WordPress platform, where do I find plugins that should work?
You will find in WordPress, again, when you see us building the site, we'll show you all of the WordPress interface, but there is a section there specifically called plugins, which you can click on, and it takes you to a page where you can then just search for whatever the function you're looking for, and it will come up with plugins, and it will tell you there's some pretty crucial information to look for, like how many times it's been used, when it was most recently updated, those sorts of things. And then it's a simple process to download and install it from there onto your own website.
And what about if I've got photographs on my phone that I've taken of anything, of the About Me page, of my children? Can I use those? Can the photographs on my phone, can they be used?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on, I guess, the computers you use. If you use Macs, like we do, it's a very simple process. If you have iPhones, so I can talk. I can answer that. I don't know about PCs. I'm sure there is, but I haven't used one for a very, very long time. But on an iPhone, you just do an airdrop and drop it onto your computer, and then upload it again in the WordPress menu, which you'll see in detail. You have a media storage space in there, so you can store all sorts of images, your logos, mainly images that you're going to use. And again, if these are your own images, then you don't really have to worry about copyright, but there are lots of places now that you can get images which are copyright free. But there's a lot of advantages, and again, this is for another time. There are a lot of advantages in using your own
Oh,
unique
yeah.
images.
Yeah.
But yes, the simple answer is yes. Worst case scenario, you could email it to yourself, I guess, and pick it
Yes,
up
I've
from
done
there.
that.
But for Macs and iPhones, I'm sure Microsoft have got something similar.
Oh, yes. I mean, yes. What it is when you press the media icon and then you say add a new one, it will go and search on your computer for the one that you want. So it's very easy. You just upload it.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
In fact,
The plugins I think are incredibly interesting, and they just make everything look fabulous. And yeah, quite extraordinary, beautiful things. Whether you're into that, I am, but also structurally and line margins up and things like that. Very, very important.
yeah, because I think a lot of people are put off building websites, as I certainly was for a long time, because I imagined I would have to learn all this coding stuff. People sitting. I mean, this stuff is just strings of numbers that people understand. That terrifies me.
Yeah, me too.
I would just.
It would never happen with me, I'm afraid.
But WordPress and the kind of site building stuff that's available now and all these plugins, you don't have to get your hands or your mind dirty with that stuff in the slightest. It really is drag and drop simple, more or less.
You need to know where to look, that's all. You need to know where to find the information.
Yeah.
And that's very easy today. What about themes?
Themes, well, I think we touched on themes again. The theme is in WordPress. When you install WordPress, it comes with lots and lots of different types of themes, which are created for specific purposes, and they're pretty good, but they can be a little bit limited because they're kind of free themes. There are sometimes less plugins available for them. There are less people spending their time writing plugins for the free ones. But they're again, as a starting point, they're excellent, and they're just layouts, styles of layouts. So if you were a photographer, for example, you might want a layout that just looks like a gallery of photographs that when you click on them expand or that sort of thing. If you're a blogger, you don't really want that. You want a standard kind of home, about, blog, that sort of thing. So themes are really just layouts. And some of the builders that we've touched on and we'll look at later again in more detail, you can really start from scratch and just build that in rows and add elements and literally make it exactly the way you want it to be. But themes, most of us aren't dedicated designers, so themes are a helpful start point.
Templates, aren't they? They're templates.
Yeah, templates. That's the word I was looking for. Templates. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to say? Just made my notes here.
That's really all of
maybe just a quick word, the difference, Dave, about a landing page and a static page. You referred briefly to a landing page, just so that we emphasize what a landing page is and what's the difference between that and my home page.
Okay, well, a landing page typically doesn't actually appear in the menu of your website. But it could be your homepage. I mean, your homepage is a type of landing page because it's where people land when they find your website. But if you're doing, you may want a very simple page which just asks for an opt-in. Very briefly explains, because the person's interested enough to have found what you're looking for, and they just want the next step, whether that's to get information, to get on your newsletter, to buy the product. So a landing page is a one page. There's no menu on top of there. It's just a single page, and that can be built on a separate domain. It doesn't. It like I say, usually doesn't appear on the menu of your main website, but it's just a page that people will land on, and it's a very simple piece of really good copywriting, hopefully, with an opt-in form and a buy now button, which allows a sale to happen and an opt-in to your list. So it's a very targeted, very specific, one-purpose page, really.
It's in a call to action page.
Call to action, exactly.
You want somebody to do something.
Yeah.
So you keep it as simple as possible and just with the button press here.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to no nonsense. We have enough information. We just want to move on.
Yes.
So yeah. And like I say, that can be created anywhere else. It doesn't have to, exist visibly on your page. Doesn't really matter as long as it's part of your domain.
Further platforms that can really expedite the speed of loading your pages, but that is an advanced course.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. That's worth mentioning. You want landing pages in particular to be lightning quick. And sometimes if you have a website with a lot of content on it, a lot of images, if you have a blog on there with a lot of posts which all have images, that can slow things down slightly. So if a landing page is a good way to avoid that. It's less clumsy, it's less heavy, it's got less in it, less coding, it's very quick to load, and it just gets the job done very quickly.
Yeah, we always have to remember our customer who's on a train or trying to get on a train in rush hour watching his phone. So the attention span is very short.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. There are specific. As I said at the start, it very much depends on the kind of online business that you have. If it's an e-commerce business, that really is basically a shop front, an online storefront. So you'll have products on there almost immediately, very little personal information about you. You may want a business contact details, but it doesn't really have to be anything about you personally. Whereas if it's your own products, if you're a coach or you're doing some kind of teaching, an online course, or if you're an affiliate for someone else recommending their products, people want to know more about you. And we want to be able to trust people that are recommending things to us or that are offering us services. So it's really only natural that you need to have those pages.
Yes, it's some of the more genteel products, for example, handmade soaps or something like that. People would probably want to know about you and how you came to be making handmade soaps, or wooden toys, or they want to hear the story of the craft.
Yes, exactly.
So you have to understand your customer. You have to know who you're selling to, and be part of their story, don't you?
Yes,
so
that's true.
Yeah.
And if you've come from a traditional business that you're taking online, you've got kind of the advantage of having a lot of that knowledge in advance, which bonus, really.
You know the language to speak to them.
Yes, exactly. Precisely.
Yeah.
But as we say, this has been a very broad strokes overview of how to construct a website, what the kind of design of, structure of the website. We want to go into an awful lot more detail, but it will have to be in a masterclass where we can actually demonstrate the site that we have, that we will build live, as it were, and let you see that in action. It's you really need to refer to that and to show you the whole background of what's going on and how it all works. So as Selima said earlier on, that will be a masterclass that we're hoping to publish, and we'll let you know as soon as we have.
And there'll be a series of masterclasses coming up where we really get into the whole concept of marketing, which is certainly my background, and the refining of copy, the way we have to reach our customer based on the great ad advice over the years. Because advertising is advertising. You have different ways of doing it, and you have to use modern language, but ultimately it's the same thing. You've got a product, you want to sell it, and how are we going to do that? How are we going to convince our customer?
Advertising, marketing, sales, they will never change. This way we do them may change slightly. And since I've been involved on the internet, there have been a number of landmark changes which have sent internet marketers into a screaming panic.
Yes.
But there's always they don't disappear. They just work out how you need to do it now. Which is, as you mentioned earlier, that's why there isn't a catch-all book or a university course that you can go to, because these things come up and you sometimes have to the platforms that all this happens on, Google, Facebook, etc. They're really writing the rules, and we're having to comply. So
I have to say, David, I'm already thinking about the marketing masterclass copywriting, because I've already written a piece of copy for our listeners, which Dave and I are going to critique, and we would like you to join us. And then we're going to ask you how many mistakes you can see are on the piece of copy. It's a fun exercise, but it's exclusive to Tuesday at 2. I wrote it over a hot weekend, and yeah, that's coming up too, where we're really going to get into the nitty gritty of what it is to market, what it is to market online, and what it is to market online when you're over 50 with a bit of cash behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
As you said, encore career. What a great
an encore career. Yeah. Whether you want one or forced, as I was, to find one. Second career.
Yes, indeed.
And there's no better place in our mind, obviously, than the internet to do that.
But you need people who walk the walk and talk the talk, and people who've gone down the rabbit holes. And it also this generation's English.
Yes.
No awesome geniuses and things like that.
Awesome. Like, so.
Paradigm, yes.
I've noticed, just as a little aside, one of the things that annoys me hugely, and I think Selima too, is that the number of people who now start sentences with the word so, and usually in an answer to a question. I'm actually seeing this appearing in copy now.
Yeah.
So, I'm, or
what's your name? So, my name's Selima.
Yeah, what do you do for a living? Yeah, what do you do for a living? So, I'm a, doesn't.
Ordinary. Don't know where it's come from.
I diverge. Are we done for today, do you think?
We're done. I'm done.
Well, please keep the questions coming, folks. That we've had a few that we started this off with today. These are great, and they will help us to really tailor this to an experience that's going to be of huge value to you, particularly when we get to doing these masterclasses that we've mentioned a number of times. So please, the email is going to appear shortly. Subscribe, like, comment. Let's keep the ball rolling, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, that's me done. Bye for now.
Bye.